Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. First, make you see how far your back bend. If you don't know how, get less of a current. Turn your body round like a smoothie or the blend. New dance trend. Style we no borrow, style we no lend. For sure, we no the beg no friend. From in the thing from way back when for the elders and the children. Can't do this thing till they gonna to do it like charge. Back it up in the garage. Make them know we squad living large. Hold a salute, left sarge. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. We like when you shake it. Never gonna DR, we gon' fake it. Entire yam, heart and kick. Mama take 9 months to make it. Act like you didn't need Johnny cake before you bake it. Take a pass to the cars, then twerk it. Then your style you can't buy the new market. All of the styling bang surpass it, yo. Watch when they blaze it. Have the cymbal like we don't tease it. Tell the DJ, rewind it. Bust a sweat and work it. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme. From Baka Jungle all the way to Yabra, Corozal and Dangriga. Check Pamali's sister Julia, teaching the tourists that he kaka. Through the alley and the plaza, no jump past 41-mile marker. If you want something extra, I want you that feel Librata. There for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme, Ling Bang. No matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling Bang. Rooster or hen, this one, yeah. Creme de la creme.
You run.
Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Disappear for a while, but now I am back again, introducing a new style, them call the Ling Bang. I am a musical zen, violating the charts again. Ling Bang, no matter if you're 50 or 10, Ling Bang. Big bully in a pen, Ling.
Greetings in the name of all things good and positive. I am G. Michael Reid, and we're here as per normal every Wednesday evening This is we call the show Read Between the Lines. I am Reid in between these lines. G. Michael Reid to be exact. We share thoughts and commentaries every week with special guests. We try to pick people that we believe have a foot on the ground, and their wires plugged and know exactly what is going on. We have no sacred cows, no scapegoats, no agendas, personal or political or otherwise, but we try to take a good, frank look at all the issues that are facing us today. We are joined this week, and our guest is already in the studio by a gentleman who I have much respect for, Mr. Aaron Anderson, better known as Grieger Man. Grieger in the house. How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. How are you, sir? Good night.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wishing you the very best for the rest of the week, rest of the month, and rest of the year. Friday, the one holiday. Friday, the Emancipation Day.
Amen.
And I don't know. I've never been a big fan of that celebration. I prefer the June the 1st, which was vote day. I don't know if you're familiar with that story there, when all um, the inhabitants of the then settlement came together and had a vote whether we should fight or flight. We run and left this thing behind, and we stand up and fight for it. I'm just grateful that we did stand and fight. We are still here today, still fighting, Grieger, still fighting.
Yeah.
Now, emancipation was a big thing because slaves were freed, but some question whether where Bob Marley said we have to free our minds from mental slavery. Are we really free, or that just one procedural thing? And at the end of the day, you still have to get up and go work every day, or you don't make it. So that though, another aspect of that is I see that there are two separate events in Belize City celebrating the same thing. I wonder why they couldn't get together. I don't know if that one matter Royal Creole versus Roots Creole, because one is held by what the girl Yaya Marine Coleman, and she has her by Golden Bay.
Mhm.
The of course the niche and the government of Belize holds their celebration at near the Yabra. The junction where, and it's basically a tribute to Isaiah Morto also. So I really wonder maybe they could come together and just do one big thing. No, Belize City is not that big that we can afford multiple events like that.
Right.
Nevertheless, Griga, we got a lot of other things to talk about. Me and you. I mean the elephant in our living room. The UDP is still trying to get things together. Now, they have at this point two leaders and potential leaders. Shine and Tracy are still jostling there for a position. You have offered your support to one. I believe you like Shine,
I
or that Tracy.
I support what I believe the rule of law, and with that being said, that the shine.
Okay,
Um, and the reason I stick by that is because that what the Constitution say. Now, the Constitution also said that after what election, if you have to be what elected member of Parliament, so that you could remain. But because of everything what happened prior to election, I call it a coup. People could call it what they want.
mm,
That discredited any movements what happened after October 20th, in my mind. And so, knowing that the current duly elected leader, Shine Barrow, is planning to completely step out of leadership and understands that October this year, October 5th, is the convention date. We're bring in a new team of leadership at least. I support that.
But is he gonna be? Is his name on the ballot again?
Nope.
He's not gonna be running for leadership.
No, he's not.
How you feel about Darrell Bradley? Because his name has been thrown out there.
I like Darrell. Again, I bring it to the constitution of the UDP, where you have to be a member of parliament.
Has Shine indicated whether he'll still remain as a part of the UDP and maybe run again for the mess up or some other division? Has he made any kind of plans?
From my
to you?
understanding, he's not planning to go anywhere away from Messop and the people of Messop. He plans to continue to be prevalent in his constituency
And work with them, yeah.
Yep.
I've asked a number of people, Aaron. I asked one guy today what he think about Shine, and he said, "Well, the people they don't want them." I have asked a number of people, "Why don't you like Shine? What is it about Shine that you don't like?" You get all kind of obtuse answers, and answers when not really they tell you anything. Oh, he too arrogant. He not done nothing for the people. And I'm like, well, he's never had a chance to. I mean, he's done what he could for people in his constituency. I've seen him engaged in a number of things. No, I cannot get. I think that's just something where, yeah, we have to try to get Shine to get his point of view. I've spoken to him a couple of times, but I don't know what that one matter of when the herd move in a certain direction. A lot of people just run with the herd. Oh, we not like him. All right, we not like him. I believe that the why Trump got elected because the herd started to move that way, and everybody just jumped on board. No, so I can't understand. I cannot understand the venom that's directed at the fellow. He seems to me he's calm under pressure. He answers questions when asked. Get rattled too easy. But I mean, I'm not even a UDP, to be honest with you. Were you always a UDP, Aaron?
Yes, sir. From day one.
From
84 when my old man ran in Dangriga.
So your father did run. You were born in Dangriga.
Actually, no. So I was born in Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh, interesting.
My old man made a finish a medical internship.
But he was already living in Belize.
No, he was finishing the internship. Born and raised in Dangriga, went to Jamaica UWI with Dean Barrow and all of them. Dr. Marcelo Coy, all of them gone to school together.
Oh, your father?
Yes.
So he was born in Dangriga.
Yes.
He was born in Dangriga. Yes. Interesting. Yeah.
And then after he finished school, he had to do the medical internship, and he went to Bahamas. So 6 months before he was done with the internship, I decided I was short. And so that's the only reason I was born in Nassau and not Dangriga.
But of course, you from Belizean parents, you're a Belizean, so
yes.
That there's no
back in Dangriga. Actually, we moved to what is now Bonefish Hotel because that used to be our house.
Interesting. All right, you but where your father was involved in the citrus industry? What was his?
The family was all in citrus, yes.
Okay.
With the Bowmans and whatnot.
What are you? Did you ever have any inclination towards that farming or citrus or anything like that?
Actually, yes, definitely. Disappointed in what is currently our citrus industry, but I also see potential in a couple other industries. One and the whole near and dear because I had to work on something in the background. But one were personal to me, and I had I did some volunteering and some work with WCS and Desiree Keane, who is now Desiree Arzu, who used to work for Crim.
Right, I remember her.
It's the revitalization of our Queen Conch and lobster populations.
If we got to see now.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. But now, I don't want to pass the citrus industry too quickly because where they going with citrus? I mean, we had a vibrant industry, and then we had one case of greening, as I understand, some kind of stuff moved through that we had a problem controlling.
Mhm.
But it seemed we had gotten over that. But what? Did it take the wind out the sail? Did some people just give up on the whole industry thing?
I think that will happen. I think that the collapse of that industry caused by the destruction of the citrus plants itself with the I think that come in at the early 2000s
Right.
made it hard for bounce back, and a lot of the farmers went on to other produce and products, livestock, for example, or I listened to what interview a few years ago that I think it was Love or no, it was Channel 7 that they did an interview with John Zabani, and he explained how the collapse of citrus impacted farmers locally, and how just having banana was barely enough to make them hold on. But a lot of other smaller farmers, not the huge farmers, they gone in because they couldn't survive it.
Well, you think maybe government could have done more,
I
subsidize?
I will always believe so,
Yeah.
and I
And
could blame both governments on that.
I know one farmer who basically cut up a land, subdivide it, and sell everything out, which I felt terrible because I mean, it's orange juice going to still sell. People love orange juice, and there's been no decline in the demand for it.
Right.
And we now one of the industries, one of the mainstay for us. Of course, tourism has trumped everything, um, as has call centers
Yeah.
trumped all other kinds of employment in Belize, and has done a lot for the economy. But I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, but I see it as a very temporary industry at best. AI will take over and do a more efficient, more competent, more reliable job than the humans can do in such situations. No.
G Mike, before I go to that AI topic, which is my expertise, going back to citrus, I think one of the biggest errors we made was allowing citrus to get out of the hands of Belizeans,
Okay.
the major companies, because at that point, we nor government had any, we as the CGA, the Citrus Growers Association, or the government of Belize had that majority control. We had to answer to our outside figure, and I think that changed everything for the citrus industry.
But when did that happen? Did that happen this
It
century?
started to happen late 90s.
Uh huh. And then it was taken over by who? Americans or
No, I
some
believe that was Trinidadian
Guatemalans?
company first,
Okay. And they move in and just yeah.
and
Eh,
then after that it changed. And then the citrus growers, the CGA couldn't even agree on anything under the canton rule, actually.
As is the case with us most of the time.
Yeah,
An unfortunate thing. And many times the objections are petty,
yeah,
sometimes substantial, but I can't say that nothing we shouldn't be able to get over with common sense. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Just sitting down and reasoning, man. And with looking at the industry and the best interest of the industry as paramount, as opposed to our own personal wants. Sometimes I see people come up with certain things and then hold steadfast onto it in the face of even sound reasoning against what they're talking about. They figure that sudden they want to hold on to that. I don't know if they think they look bad because they would give in, or or concede that maybe they're not as wrong as right as they thought they were.
Right.
So you work with AI, is that it?
I work in the digital atmosphere, digital marketing, the digital powerhouse. I actually just recertified on my Google Ads and Google Analytics certificates today. So
All
I'm
right.
the on test today online for recertify. So fresh off of the Google boot.
Interesting. So, but you do, you offer what kind of services? Let me go do a little plug in now for where
I
though.
do complete digital marketing. I also have a hospitality management certificate for go along with a paralegal degree as well as Google certificates. So I basically create digital marketing strategies for resorts
Okay.
and push them out. I am one of the top digital marketing experts for hospitality, ranked by Google.
Now, of course, you describe one aspect of AI. Let us look at AI, for those who, like myself, aren't completely versed in a way really to go on here. I see it as AI, and some people are saying that AI will maybe be the end of mankind and such. Kind of take over, and they can know they could do things. Can AI think for itself?
Yes, it can.
So,
Case in
so
point, I had a contract started in March to automate for a company, um, chat, a chatbot they called it, so that when their call center was closed, the chatbot could have the full conversation with a potential customer right from initial contact until booking, the whole thing.
answer all questions and what that.
Answer every single question based on the content that they pulled from the website, and it happened automatically. So all I had to do was create the communication. They we call it a
You
API connection.
you give it the information.
Yeah,
All right, but that's still garbage in, garbage out, isn't it? Because if you give it wrong information, won't it answer the question
wrong.
wrongly?
Yes.
So that's still they're not it's not thinking for itself basically.
No.
It's answering questions based on information pre-recorded, pre-entered, so to speak.
Right, but you have to think about it this way, right? So I am speaking of a specific client with a specific information set,
Right.
answering specific questions. But if we look at AI from a bird's eye view, and this is how you get crazy. Um, Google handles about 15 billion searches a day,
I can believe that.
and it also has a bunch of information where AI can now take the best version of an answer to your question and within 0.03 seconds serve that up to you.
Giving you the best answer to the question. You mean
Mhm.
after researching all other questions and giving you one
Yep.
that fits what you are looking for. Now, make no mistake, Google, amazing, amazing. And I use it regularly. And if I had an argument with a lady the other day, and I was telling, well, I Google it. I said, Google is your source, and I'm saying, what other one? And after that, the God. I see, Google seems to know everything, Aaron. I mean,
Yep.
and I haven't had many wrong answers because they tend to make sense the arguments you get. And if you check with other sources, usually will come out that boy again Google was right. So but there's a there's still a question, because again we're not perfect as human beings. Some We have good people and we have bad people. How dangerous in your opinion is AI?
I not. I think that the human element in AI will continue to protect with.
And you mean no? Okay, but that human element is not always positive and good.
Right.
There's a lot of mischief that enters the game, in particular when there's profit
Hmm.
and gain to be had. Um, is AI gonna, because AI is available to everybody. It's not only available to good people; it's available to bad people also.
Right.
Is there? Do you see anything in place that would safeguard us against the bad and more push towards good?
Nothing yet.
So that just a matter of we discretion and what we decide as users and people.
Yeah, and the perfect example of that is um, you could easily create a campaign of misinformation and use AI to bolster that. Now it's up to the social networks as well as Google to flag that information if it's known to be wrong and
Right.
put a warning on that. But that's where the human element will come in. This AI conversation started with call centers, I believe. And I do believe that call centers in Belize will be temporary, not because of AI, but because of cheaper labor elsewhere.
You mean they were moved like Williamson did?
Like what happened at Dangriga.
One closed down in Dangriga the other day, right?
Yeah,
But where did they go? Some another country?
we don't know.
Yeah.
The details were never have not been given out yet. But when you build a workforce, and not a workforce, but a employment base on when you build employment based on external factors where you can't control internally, you're there at their mercy.
But then that is not why we have a government to ensure that we put safeguards in place that we are not at nobody's mercy, but our own
I agree,
people.
and I believe that that seldomly happen because I believe that unfortunately we are still a nation rooted in corruption, and for the right price you could buy anything.
A serious indictment. Um,
I
I
stand by it.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, how can I argue when the evidence is clear? No,
Yeah.
which is why, and we run into this um 13th amendment now. Since you, if you don't mind, we don't got nothing else along that line. Though that an interesting subject in itself with the whole call center thing and whatnot, and I agree. Um, yeah, but going, how did that the affect the work situation in Dangriga? Because I imagine there were a number of people that were, because they do hire a lot of people. Those people are just now out of work, no?
Yeah. And that definitely what hit the Dangriga economy. The Dangriga people was start to be a little bit more desperate because whether we want to admit it or not, the income generated by those employees of a call center, even though some of the work conditions are ridiculous, I
Right.
have is I have specific call center employees who I talk to all the time, and they talk about their local managers taking advantage, stealing their bonuses, things like that, and then then complain, but nothing happened. But the bottom line right now is that almost 300 people lose their job in our lead town like Dangraga. That's a huge impact right before school start. So now we have many parents where they look for help with school supplies, school registration, things like that. Food, done expensive.
Yeah, I always felt that call centers should have a program in place where they and should be they should be demanded of them. Have a program where they uh, um, encourage or facilitate the employees there to take up some kind of trade, some alternative means of employment once that is over with, no? Because whether your theory or my theory as to why it will go, I believe that AI will take over and they will be answering the questions instead of the physical people that are sitting there. It's sad to I never heard that part about the the um the managers, local managers taking advantage like that, and that's sad because my God, they certainly make more money than regular employees,
Right.
and you have that one sad situation. Shamika wants to know if any call centers remain in Dangriga, or is that the only one that was there as far as you know?
Sham, that was the only one. So no other call center in Namibia.
Are there anywhere near Dangriga? Are there no? So most of them are where in Belize City. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, tough situation. Now we're going to the 13 because
Look up
300
information for that. Ready?
300 people out of work spells trouble because man have to live. You know what I'm saying? A man have to eat, and we would hope that they would try or have had something ready in the event. But we know how it goes. People figure they got a job, they don't have to worry about nothing else right now. Um, that means crime in Dangriga might get worse.
Right.
Things are already tough all over the country. What are we going to do about it? Before we even discuss the 13, would you have any recommendations as to how we could manage the crime situation that exists right now?
We have a lot of potential in agriculture and industry. I don't think that we offer enough opportunity from an educational standpoint for people to learn how to feed themselves basically through agriculture. How do you know, what I am thinking that Chester Garcia back in 1995, and I stick with the 1993. I have to stick with the Dangriga team because that's the way I mainly know. But Chester Garcia, after being elected, went and reopened Lynham School.
Mm-hmm.
And that was well known as an agricultural school. I think that we need to invest more, like IT Vet, for example, which is great. I will never knock IT Vet and what they do, but we have to invest more in not only the tourism industry, which is a heavy focus at IT Vet, but also the mechanics, the farming, the agriculture. How do we teach a man to feed himself?
All right, Griga, because and this is where I play devil's advocate, because we have two hands, right? The one that should be given the government, creating the opportunities, have things available for people to do, have the schools necessary where they can learn. How do we then, on the other side of that, the public that has to take advantage of that, the young people that are coming up, do you see a willingness in them to capitalize on whatever opportunities are created by the powers that be?
It depends on I again, this is all my personal belief. I believe that we need to invest also in our social structure, our family structure. How do we secure a home that will breed the environment for learning? When we have families that struggle to even eat, it's kind of hard to stay focused on getting that education.
I think though that maybe our expectations run ahead of the realization of what is, because you saying that to a man who grew up in abject poverty, we didn't have much of anything, but we got from our parents they kept pounding in your head, boy, you have to prepare yourself for the future. You have to learn to do something. You have to make yourself a better man. Are the youth of today getting that kind of advice from the parents? Uh, and is that not where the secret lies?
I think that is where the secret lies, and I think that that's where we lack.
Yeah. Is there anything that a government can do in that regard?
The only thing the government could honestly do is lay the foundation. If the foundation isn't there, then it not happen. But after the foundation is there, it up to each individual to pick up their mantle as well.
I think on that at the bottom line, you carry the house of water, he have to open the mouth and drink, no?
Correct.
I mentioned this to Joe one night, and he was suggesting, well, carry the water, carry the house of water, bloody well and drink. That I don't see that as such. That has, if you don't want to drink, you don't want to drink. And the bottom line is, for you not die of thirst, he has to drink. So I think if we could get it to the get it clear in the minds of the young people that you have to want to get something to get it in the first place, even if it's there and you don't want it, you're not. Shamika, thanks for being engaged there. Firstly, education is not affordable to poor people. I don't know. Education is, to a certain point, practically free, isn't it? I mean, there are costs to it, but I don't know that there's any, and there's a lot of help for people who really want to get educated. I don't know. I don't know that I would agree with that. Um, and I again, and this is getting back to my answer to your point, Griga. I don't know that we can put the blame on poverty. Yes, poverty exists. Poverty is not a nice thing. Poverty doesn't make it easy for you. But when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And things do go eventually, regardless of somehow and I believe in divine intervention. I think if you really want it, the way will present itself for you. But that's just me, and I might be naive, but that is how I see it. No?
G Mike, I think that we have become a society, we have become a dependent society.
Yeah.
Whether we are dependent on government for help, or we are dependent on the Western Union, or we're dependent on whatever it is, we have become too dependent on something else other than self-reliance. And I have had this discussion many times, as you know, at the middle of our league campaign right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this discussion many times where, how do we restart and reset? One, we have to change not what we teach at a young age, but how we deliver the message of what we want to teach. Because when I talk to one of my campaign advisors, that were high ranking teacher actually, this topic of civics come up, and civic pride and so on, and what is being taught right now and how that could impact a young mind. And it's not that not in the curriculum, but it's not being delivered properly. So we have teachers, and they're not all, please, another label everybody. But we have teachers where once they left the classroom, their behavior kind of questionable.
What they teach then are the lessons you want your children to learn.
Right.
Uh,
And I think that if we could instill a different mindset in our educators, and again, they're not all, but we start right there, where the bottom line is, I think we need to be more professional. We have always been so used to, you know what, it will be okay, and at this point, it's not okay anymore.
our motto used to be no big thing, no big
No
thing.
big thing.
But I think though, and a big part of the problem is that we need to stop trying to put square pegs in round holes. In other words, you have people that are suited for certain roles, certain careers, certain professionals, certain professions, and we have the wrong people in oftentimes the wrong positions. There are people who are teaching who aren't teachers. There are people who are police officers who are not to be police officers. They don't have the demeanor for it. Many people encourage their kids. Put that up again one more time. I never get that. But really, we don't encourage their kids still. Maybe not as much as before. Um, Encourage them though. In what way? In good encouragement, bad encourage them in the bad things. I don't know, because that happens also. Um, Now, one full uniform is $70. You know that another thing right there, because this and I am not one to believe that every problem we look and say the government should be solving that, because we have to do it together. But we had a Williamson sewing factory, and I bring this up often, that was sewing dickies to world class. They were being sold in the market in New York, LA, and big cities of the US and UK. We obviously, whatever kind of agreement they drew up, just like how that call center pick up and gone, Williamson pick up and gone, but then not only gone, they carry the machine, they carry the shred, they carry the building. Only thing left was a foundation. I said I couldn't broke that up for carry that. But what kind of government draws up an agreement, signs an agreement with, give them duty free for what, 30, 40 years sometimes? Or you don't have to pay no duty until you recover your investment. Which means then that we the pay for the investment. That we the pay for this, all these materials that you're buying. If you're going, you could go but left it. And the thing is that we had a lot of women that knew how to sew. They were the ones doing it. We had managers. The managers were Belizeans. Only the boss there and whatnot come in, pick up their money and go. But so we could have carried on that, and we wouldn't have to pay $70 for a uniform. Because if we play, all you have to do is buy the material. But wait, what we have to do now? Go to Melcher. Go jump the border. Hope for a box from foreign. And our sad situation, because we can do more for ourselves, but that we also have to be involved. We have to demand it, and I don't know the politics of it, Aaron. Because right now it's a two horse race. One now, next one, next one, next one. Is there room for a third party?
I don't think so.
You don't think you get no support?
I think what we need, that rather than hoping for a third party, that we need for have political reform. I was a strong believer of having political parties registered, because that open up some books for the public. I know appreciate nor agree with all of the power where ministers have.
Okay.
You need one minister for send one recommendation so you could get a job. Why I can't get a job based on my credentials? Why it have to be one minister? We give ministers too much power.
Well, listen, I think I'm a bit more than that. What I'm seeing is that, see, now you're there, you're running for Dangriga. You come with fresh ideas. You come with one background as a you haven't been in trouble as far as we know. You're not revealing none to us yet. You see what I'm saying? So you and you obviously have good intentions, and you care about people. But why not know if you that kind of the man where that they elect? They want to elect somebody when get up and sell them a whole bunch of dreams, who might have some kind of flair. They might even take somebody with only fame from somewhere else, but without no kind of solid background to them. And that the people, maybe we putting up the wrong people as representatives, and then when they're the ones that go in and become ministers, and that they make the decisions that affect us every day. We need to maybe take a look at that. Claire is saying the electorate needs to be better educated on the political process system, and be organized. Okay, we can be organized. The education, as far as the political process, maybe they don't know how it works. Is that it? Um, how do we reform the whole political system that is? Because the status quo does need some revamping, some reform. Um, what, where do we take that? Where do we go with that? Where do we start?
We start with having elected official qualified elected officials.
Gets back to what I was saying. Yeah,
Right. Completely agree with what you had to say.
qualified and with integrity.
Yes. I don't want somebody to represent me where could barely read and write. I know they said that they happen.
Oh, it happened. Yeah, you don't have to say it happened. We know it happened. We have listened to some of them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want that. When I know I just sit down and sup on my brain, I know I got a brain. And I know how to use it. I don't want by default somebody without one or without the right education for represent we on an international level and a local level. That's the one thing I would like is that we can compete internationally instead of having Dean Barrow. I'll use Dean Barrow as an example. Dean Barrow could have talk.
Mhm.
He eloquently spoke and delivered messages that if you never the top of things, you miss what he to tell you.
You go over your head.
Way over your head. I don't want our elected officials to be in an international setting where something go over their head and we get screwed.
I hear you, but there's a caveat. Dean Barrow had the opportunity and the potential to be the best ever. I mean, the best. He was bright, yes, articulate, had a good sense of humor. He could pull the proper quote for the proper situation, but somewhere along the line, I don't think that he came up short on the integrity side. I think he didn't always look at what was in the best interest of the people, and many times he was looking for what was in the best interest of his party or himself personal. That is my personal opinion. Now, I, as a UDP, you might not agree with me, but I mean, that's how I see it. No, I think I'm on waste because Adam Dean Barrow had 3 terms in office. He could have done a lot more than he did. Um, being eloquent, boy, there's no question. He could hold his own with the best. I'm sure I saw him having a conversation with Obama, President Obama, and I said, well, you could know that there's something there that they're speaking to each other in a language both can understand because he could hold his own with the best of them. I think he came up. Where he lost me was the thing with Penna when he went out of his way to support that, which was obvious wrong. So you have to at some point make the sacrifice of saying, "Boy, I might lose all this support from this side, but in the long run, it will help me to win this race and help everybody else to get over." So that being said, we can move on from there, no?
Give me a sec.
Yeah,
Maka counter that.
good.
My question or counter would then be: was it Dean or was it other elected officials that did not have, like you said, the integrity?
Um,
Yes, I agree with you.
He was the head. He was the buck stops there, and
Right.
he ran the kind of ship that nobody was gonna influence him unless he wanted to be. So I would counter with that there. Um,
Fair.
yeah, the book stops when you uneasy lies the head that wears the crown, and he had the crown, and he had the support of the people, he had the love of the people, he had the opportunity to pull because, and he did it for 13 years, pull people over to the UDP that would not ordinarily be even as now we're seeing, unfortunately for the UDP, we are seeing it with a PUP where I myself don't know if it's warranted or if it's deserved. That people are saying, well, maybe the UDP, the PUP not do too bad, but compared to what? I think that any, they don't have enough of a oversight coming from a good opposition that would hold their feet to the fire, bring them to task when they mess up. And I don't think that we're going to know half of what is going on until it's too late and it's done gone. So I think it's dangerous to not have an opposition in place. And I think we should get a viable opposition, but hopefully a viable one, not one just hurry come up, comprised of um, just helter skelter people from all over the place. No, I think I hope some thought goes into the formation of a new UDP. Um, I might agree with you that the space for a third party is not presented itself right now. Um, I don't see, we don't have enough quality candidates for two parties. We'll try make three. And there are a lot of people with personal agendas, and they would like to get in there, and they will say a lot of things until they get in there. But once they're in there, then you see a whole different story unfolding.
And this the why G Mike. I had to finance my own campaign. I had a campaign using people where I believe will represent honesty, integrity. I know I don't want to owe nobody at the end of the
So
day.
you're not beholden to any donors or such.
Exactly.
But some big people with money. If Michael Ashcroft approaches Aaron and say, "Boy, I like where you look down there. I got only 2 million for your campaign. It's kind of hard for you to turn that way, though, right?"
I mean, it definitely hard, but what more important at the end of the day? Somebody where you know, hey, make a contact me lawyer.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, listen. Speaking of the AI thing, you see the thing when they released with Michael Ashcroft, where
Right,
supposedly is not him, but it
right.
shows what AI could do. You know, AI could have you sitting there talking with your voice, with your lips to move, and then you.
Oh,
That's a dangerous situation,
yeah.
brother, because they've blurred the line between reality and uh, 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 uh,
Artificial.
artificial. I mean, it's really, really crazy. Now, 13th Amendment, 'cause we have to talk about this. And guess where we want to agree, because there's another show that's scheduled to begin tonight. And let me say this at this point, because Wednesdays they get kind of crowded. Uh, in fact, the one that have me that made me look at this a different way is the one with Jules Vasquez on Channel 7. He has some good guests from time to time.
Mhm.
He has the wherewithal to pull them in, and and sometimes I want to see the show myself. So when
Yeah.
people have to say. So we what we have decided between myself and our producer up there in New York City, that we are moved next week to Thursday night. So I look forward to that, and I hope we see you from time to time, Griga, and not just the when you do the guest spot. Griga drop out for a minute. I'm sure you can come back. It look like the internet may get any trouble. There you go. And you're gone there for a minute.
Me?
Yeah,
No, I hear you the whole time.
Yeah, you're gone off of the screen there for a minute. I don't know if your camera. All right, but anyway, yeah, man. But next week, you familiar with Lauren Namanin, Lauren Burgess? She was a
Yes, yes.
famous comedian. So we'll talk about next generation and other issues next week with her. But we'll be on Thursday. I just want to drop that out there right now. We're moving to Thursdays and make they got Wednesday night, man. That not like with a world about competition because we don't have the numbers like a mother of all talk shows and then kind of big shows there, but we have some faithful listeners and viewers, and we really appreciate that. And I think that Thursday not gonna be a bad night for people for tuning in, no. But no, so and you, what are your thoughts on the 13th Amendment?
While I think the 13th Amendment could be a good move, I don't think we are ready for it. I think we have to strengthen up some departmental.
All right. Before you go there, though, not run past that so quick. It could be a good move. In what way?
In the way that if there is, for example, a situation would develop where historically we know that this will lead to XYZ kind of retaliation, then we have the ability to put in some kind of measures to try control that.
But that exists already, Aaron. I think, and that's part of the criticism from some people.
Exactly. The criticism is fair. It's absolutely fair because part B, which should be part A, is departmental changes need to take place. I believe that I have not much faith in our judiciary at all.
Contempt of court. Call a liar again. But I think the first point that to reach there that the police, because the police will have the authority to just pick up people in a certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
Do people have confidence in the integrity of the police?
I don't. Not in a situation like that.
They do a hard job, though, Grega.
They sure do every day.
And many times we get in a basket for backwater. You know that.
Yes.
So
I believe that. Can I blame the police force? No. Who I want to blame or not blame, but we have to, before we could pass the 13th amendment, I think we need to do a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths? What are the weaknesses? What are the opportunities? And what are the threats?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone done anything like that? What in-depth analysis of our entire legal police system? I don't know, but I think that one needs to be done.
Well, as one who was there for quite a number of years, and I think being there, I personally believe that I made a difference as far as the relationship with the community and the police, which was really, really weak for a long time. It has gotten better, but again, see, the police department is comprised of recruits that go in, and many times those recruits go in with a letter from the minister. Not all of them are of high integrity and character, but because they're owed a favor for allegiance of some sort, or having voted the correct way,
mm-hmm.
they're rewarded. Not understanding that what you do endanger the entire society. When you put a man like that in a position and he has no scruples, no morals, fortitude, you got a problem.
Yeah.
And so that might be the beginning of what needs to be corrected.
And that go way back to where I said earlier with ministers have too much power.
Yes, I agree with that. Now, though, having said that, and I used to say this all the time to folks when they ask me about the police and their misbehavior, And I said, you want better police officers, you better start raising better children. So we get back to that one that we were talking about earlier, because that's the foundation. That's where everything in the society comes from, where the politicians come from, where your accountants come from, where your judges and your judiciary comes from. The very community that where all of us are. If the proper mechanism is not in place to develop good children, we're going to continually have a problem. And the next generation, boy, I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, because this thing is only getting worse. All these measures, even at 13th Amendment, and I have said that maybe a good place to start the 13th Amendment and designated high crime areas is the House of Representatives. Let us address some of the crimes that happen there. Might not be no blood spill directly, though blood has been spilled as a consequence, but you know what I'm saying? The corruption, the waste of money that could be going to worthwhile programs, the way that the lies that are told on a regular basis, maybe we could address some of that, and that will help also alleviate the problems that we face in our society. But now it seems.
Let me ask you this. Sorry.
No, man, go ahead by all means.
Do you think that we have the proper checks and balances in place in our parliamentary system?
Checks and balance against
our
corruption,
government?
you mean?
Yes.
I think what we have can work, but we're not working what we have. We don't. That, like the 13th Amendment, I don't believe it's necessary. That is my biggest objection to that. I don't think it's necessary. I think that you kill and fly with a sledgehammer, because what we have in place can already work. You already have the authority to declare states of emergency when necessary. To just designate certain areas might be a problem. Now, again, the problem is that putting that kind of authority in the hands of people you can't trust, that will create one situation we don't want to deal with. So, if the laws are adhered properly, I want to see one of them politicians go to jail. Because are you going to tell me from 1981 none of them not do nothing wrong? We see some of them filthy rich. There was a talk tonight that about the amount of money they spend on just rentals and leases, $18 million. No, a lot of money for a small country like this to go into something like that does absolutely nothing to improve the quality of life for the citizens. So I know people that
improve the life of the certain citizens than the rest.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and of course, those are the animals that are more equal than the others, no? But
my campaign has something to say about that.
Good. Yeah, and you will put in place something to safeguard against that.
I'm not afraid to say, we as a government should be building a specific building for government offices in each district, each town, and stop with this rent. We have enough government property that can be done. Yes, it would cost initially, but you are saved very quickly.
We have been talking about that for years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember hearing about that in the 90s.
Right.
That they're going to build specific buildings. They built a few of them and then I remember they built Charles Bartlett building behind the mahogany there.
Right.
And when you walk in there, you say, this is one waste of space. You want to stay away, take up most of the room and the whole building. Then the buildings then leak. So they don't get the proper contractors to do the building. They pinch the money off of the what's budgeted for it.
Right.
So get quality work. Get money, value for money.
That way UNCAC come in.
Well, now, would you support the signing of UNCAC and implementation of that?
If I'm a prime minister, I don't sign it.
Yeah,
Long time.
it should be in place.
Yep.
And because, see, I'm a part of that, and now they're talking about cooperation between the Caribbean, and even they talk about free movement, freedom of movement, and whatnot. But what we need to do is work together to hold each other accountable.
Hmm.
In other words, we could have people from Jamaica, Barbados, and some of the other places come in and do our accounting. And that's why when you have people come in a certain positions, I don't have a problem with that because the locals are they will be influenced by family, friends, environment. We have to have people that are not, and by that same token, a part of the budget that they showed is for rental abroad. In other words, embassies abroad, diplomats abroad. Riga,
I'm
well,
familiar with that. As you know, we've served diplomatically a few times.
here's the point. You live off and on between here and States for now. I
Right.
imagine once you run for Dangriga, you'll be coming to Dangriga, I would think,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Right.
No, but now you spend some time where in the
In
Midwest.
yes, the Midwest. I have client obligations out there where I have to meet every now and again.
Here's the thing, though. If we need an ambassador for that area,
Hmm.
you would be an ideal person. You've lived there, you know the environment. You wouldn't have to pay no rent because you already have your place to live. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? Certainly, you could get on the subvention towards if you're using it as an office or something like that. But then kind of astronomical rents are not necessary. We have Belizeans all over the world, qualified Belizeans, intelligent Belizeans. Let us make use of our people that we have on the ground. You have take New York. You know what the population of the Belizean communities in New York? I mean, you talk about what? Must say nearly 50,
Mm,
60,000, if not more.
if more, definitely more.
A lot of people, lot of qualified people, lot of them even run in the diplomatic circles of those areas. You can take somebody from there, man. You don't have to get a political crony every time a position comes up.
Correct.
But we don't. We look at it and we shake our head, but we're afraid to say anything about it. Or we hesitate for one reason or the other. And or if we know a person, we don't form opinion based upon right or wrong. It's upon how I know you, how I like you, if you are related to you, if I could get something from you, and that doesn't matter. Right or right or wrong, and there's no in between. So I think we have to look at it before, though it seems to me that this 13th Amendment is a done deal.
Yeah.
Because I hear them keep talking about, oh, we want to listen to the people, but we believe that we going get it done. We're going to the house, got that part of it soon. So then going, all right, well, we had our consultations. Yeah, but what did the consultation say?
You
How
see
many
that? You
people?
see that message from Aria?
No, I didn't even see that.
It says
Oh,
it is already signed, not implemented.
oh, you mean Unkak? Unkak, that she was talking about.
All right.
I think, yeah, that was signed. I remember that being signed, but yes, it's not implemented. And again, though, if we had people of integrity, we wouldn't Unkak wouldn't be so important. But we don't have that, so we have to put in place a checks and balance to keep them honest and doing the right thing. It's a situation that will take a lot of cojones by whoever gets in. Um, I'd like to see, Gregor, you get an opportunity, but it seems that battle that you're fighting can't be easy. And I tell you, you have Dangriga, of course, our predominantly Garifuna area. Um, there you go. There you go. But you could wave all flag you want, but at the end of the day, um, you want to be. I don't know how welcome you will be in a fold like that, because let's make no mistake. We have biases, we have prejudices. We as a people, and reverse racism is as vicious as upfront racism, and we know that. So I see a group coming together. I was listening to a couple of videos today of a fellow out there ranting and raving about, and even using the derogatory terms that the rest of us aren't allowed to use, and going off. I believe that guy, what I name, the florist,
Sprangriga.
Sprangiga, referred to as Sprang Griga. Now, this now, and I'm asking myself though, what's the point? Because he said something that struck me, and he said that that the commerce down there is run by the Chinese Creole, or the Creole Chinese and other immigrants. And I don't know that he would be talking about the Creole as immigrants, because the Creole are not immigrants. Um, I as the same sentiments I shared about the Mayans, I share about the Garifuna, I share about the Mennonites, I share about the Indians, I share about the Chinese. There's no room for balkanization in this country. We are too small. We can't have everybody in their own corner to do their own thing. We either move forward together as one nation, or we fall apart.
Yeah.
And we're easily divided. We're easily pitted against each other. I would hope that at some point we look at ourselves as Belizeans and get rid of this foolish melanin concept. This if you look at a certain way, how are you as a person? What's your character like? Martin Luther King said it a long time ago. Judge a person not by the color of his skin, and I mean judge him neither good nor bad, but judge him by the content of his character. Because only so you know a person. You will meet a person, ugly person then, dark as midnight, and have a wonderful personality, good person to deal with. You'll find similarly people white as snow, um, with all kinds of property and resources, and are still fair in their dealings with other people, are of integrity, and that one person you could trust to live in a position where you say, well, I don't have to worry when I turn my back, nothing going wrong. I don't know if we got many people like that right now in our system of governance.
Yeah.
Agendas run rampant.
Yep. And I will give my old man a shout out,
Okay.
because one of the lessons I learned from my pa, the integrity. My Dr. Anderson, my pa, that man is a humble man. He no fight, he no argue. Nobody could ever say a bad thing about my pa.
He's still alive?
He is still alive.
Wonderful. Good
And
night, Miss. I hope he'll listen.
I don't think so. I think he must have the ship and will be all right now.
All right. Well, a lot of people listen to the show afterwards, because I can always go in there and
I
get.
know my mom will listen.
So I don't worry much about the. Well, you have to shout your mouth too. You look for trouble, my boy.
Well, she definitely made sure that we were well taken care of, well cared for, well. She was the disciplinarian, people would say.
Well guided.
But she definitely was the guide, and with everything that my father did in Dangriga, the Isanigo basketball team, which is legendary in Dangriga. That was from him. And the amount of youths that that team alone impacted. Um, from that to the diplomatic circle, being a steward of Belize rather than anything else, always representing the country first and being an honorable representation of yourself and your country. I learned that from my papa.
So, Mr. Anderson, Aaron is giving his props to you if you listen to this at any point. But yeah, are your parents Caucasian, Grega?
My father Anderson, the Bowman and Queeling mix.
Okay. Which that song Belizean.
Yeah, Dangrigan.
Okay.
And my mother is Langsworth and Geg mix.
But that's interesting. Interesting. Then that no song totally Caucasian at all. Apparently, if anything, only Creoline somewhere, no?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. But I mean, not that it matters because again, the question is, are you a person of integrity? You have not been. There's no scandals following you, right? There's nothing that show up later on.
Never.
No 34 felonies or nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Not even one.
Yeah. Well, Grega, we're going on for a little while more, but we'll stop at 8:30 because again, there's another show. And tonight's guest, Joe, who used to, who was a co-host with us. I want to hear what that's about.
That show I've been invited on twice.
But is that a regular show? Have they been on?
Yeah. I've been invited twice since April.
Do they come on at the same time every day?
Every Friday, every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday too? I wasn't aware of that. Yeah.
And both times after being invited, the follow-up never happened.
Well, you see, that one funny thing. And funny you should see that. Because here's the thing. When you blacklisted among certain people, even if certain people are willing to give you a break or a window, somebody will come by and slam it. That feels like, well, we don't want him Latina at all. We don't want him because you give him too much propers. We're not giving him opportunity to talk because he don't say everything that is pleasing to our agenda. So that might be what is happening. Somebody might invite you without consulting with somebody else, and then somebody else went, who he? No boy, no he. And right away the influence is strong enough that they were block the door.
Yep.
That one sad situation. So anyway, we want to talk about that one. That's something that's prevalent. Because before we go there, the crime situation, because make no mistake, crime is a reality. We see another shooting last night. Somebody gets shot. 5 people get shot.
Yeah.
Crazy. They're killing each other. What do we do, Grega? Again, how do we address crime then? And since we have decided, I believe that the majority are saying the 13th Amendment is not the way. They're going to push it through, I believe. I don't think they should, because they're really going to listen to the people, what the people are saying. And I don't know that I've spoken to anybody that has told me, boy, everybody's saying we have to do something. And yes, we have to do something. But I believe just enforcing the laws that exist will be enough. If we do it impartially, transparently, with no bias or prejudices, no favors. Just let's do what we have to do, man.
I also think that again, I'll come back to it. Enforcing the laws that we already have, yes, definitely. But I think that from an investigative standpoint, from a prosecutorial standpoint, Again, it all boils down to the judiciary, from the judge right down to the bailiff in the court. I think we need more professionalism, more training. I will not necessarily blame the people in place now. I just would hope that we can invest more on securing convictions, for example, better investigative, um, what are the word I look for? Tools, just tools, investigative tools and knowledge. Prevention of crime. I think to prevent crime, we will have to look to the new generations coming up and start to try to get into that home, into that mindset, and start to change it. And Shamika said something very important, I think. There are still parents that encourages their children, but maybe not enough. I think that I am starting to see a shift with the generation after me, where people start to become a little bit more knowledgeable of themselves and who we are and what we want and what is okay and what is not okay. How many people they actually implement that are a different story, but I think people are becoming more aware. And with awareness, we will have opportunity for betterment. But we do need more. We have to take we head out of the sun. We have to stop use that ostrich behavior, and we have to actually face with our. We have to face with facts, with truths, with struggles. We have to accept them, and we have to deal with them without favoritism. Favoritism to politician, to friend, to whoever, and we actually have to demand better for ourselves.
Do you think patriotism would help if the next generation, these children coming, or even this current generation would understand that if you love the country, if you want to see this country get better, um, you 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 have to be a better person, and it all boils down to how do you feel about Belize as opposed to how you, whether you have to get succeed and be rich and make all kind of money. How about a tide that lifts all the boats? Everybody do better together, and that be the premier focus, the lifting of all boats as opposed to just your own personal enrichment and success.
I don't know if the patriotism per se or nationalism, because I believe Belizeans in general are very proud and love Belize.
Oh, we talk it, we talk it,
Yeah,
but
definitely, we definitely talk it.
we
Yeah,
talk it, we talk it. At the end of the day, then, when the chips are done, I don't know how many still stand by that same policy. No.
I think that local society, that way the the opportunity was there. We have to understand what our opportunities are in each society, in each local environment, because what good for Belize City might not be good for Punta Gorda, and what good for Punta Gorda might not be good for San Ignacio. And rather than trying to always implement national do's and don'ts, I think that we need to spend more time on a local environment.
Um, all right, we're close down. We're going to 8:30. We got about 10 minutes left. Do you ever ride a motorcycle? Don't sink my dory for make your rock jackfruit. Okay, yes, right.
All
Yeah.
right.
You ever ride a motorcycle, gear?
Mm-mm.
You don't, because there's been a plethora of deaths from motorcycle accidents. It's crazy. We had one last night, apparently, one lady right at Belmopan High School when a picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, fortunately, school is not in, or they may see the blood when I go to the man. Five children left behind. Um, one policeman on his way to from work knocked down. The guy apparently fled the scene, but turned himself in, which was I think was the best thing that he could have done. It'd have good if him stay up on the scene just in case that person needed some assistance. You never know, what
Right.
could happen after that. Turns out that a well-known fellow,
Yep.
um, and it's unfortunate, but I think the whole more and more people are using motorcycles as a mode of transportation. Um, I like the laws about helmets because they need helmets, but even so, the dangerous ways there, I don't know if they have give them a strong enough test before they getting permission and license to ride a motorcycle, because it takes a certain skill set to do that. Many of them get out there and think they want joyride. You know what I'm saying? They really they enjoy the thrill of it. But when I used to ride a motorcycle, I had a beautiful Nighthawk, and when I bought it, a guy I used to ride one in New York City, as a matter of fact. And I'll never forget one time on the 59th Street Bridge, this taxi man opened the door for empty a street, and that was me. That was one of the worst incidents I had. But the fact is that the guy told me, he says, son, it'll be 10 times more fun than you ever believed, but 100 times more dangerous. And I kept that in front of me all the time. And you could have only oil slick on the road. And I found that there are many times I found myself shimmering, and finally was able to come under control. But anything like that could lead, and depends on how fast you're going. That's it for sports. So I think we have to look upon that, maybe more stringent uh, um, guidelines as far as people who are going to own and ride. But I see parents with babies in between them, or front of them on a
Yeah.
bike, and crazy they cut in and out of traffic, and many times they gonna style with them right by your blind spot, Grigor. And you're a party of when you're looking in the mirror, you're not sitting,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just have to know it in the day. And they need to also be taught that ride down blind spot on a person, because you could take one sudden turn, something happen in front of you, and you have to curve out that. If you don't know in the day, that's it.
Yeah, and I see that in the daytime with the run money all the time through the rigor, and then the corner and the edge you and this and that.
Yeah, the run man. That's
Yeah.
another aspect of it too. Yeah.
And the way they maneuver through traffic is absolutely dangerous.
So
But,
I'm no, maybe the run man themselves have to have an even
yeah,
higher threshold to reach before they go out there and be licensed for that. No.
every day, I could easily knock down one.
Well, every
I
day
have
one
to
get
drive to everybody.
every day one get knocked down by somebody or the other.
Yeah,
Because every day you want to pass and see one accident on motorcycle on the ground.
yeah. And when I left Mango Creek, for example, when I hit that southern highway at night, so many times I see motorcycle with no light,
Crazy. That crazy.
and I tell you, G Mike, the amount of attention I pay for the highway, because if I knock down somebody, it will be an accident. But I can't live with that.
But that I it. And I was talking about the guy that knocked down the policeman, killed the policeman. How you can't live with that. So the best thing for him is to come forward and say, boy, you know what? They happened. I'm really sorry. I don't know if he gone home because he couldn't, he may want sleep off the drunk, if he may drunk, Was he intoxicated? What happened? Um, in a tough way, explain why he left the scene. I imagine people panic and whatnot, no? But in a situation like that, boy, that one tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, you absolutely right because a lot of people don't think about that. You have to live with that, and
Yeah.
I don't care how cool and callous you are because I even feel like the young boy where they go out and murder one another. Many times I just want instinct, want reflex. Then just all right, because they got this rage, and I see that even the young boy they try to practice that with a rage, and then they shake because they want to do something to you, but you have to live with it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And someone that really it affect them. You could see them not really, but then and once they get in the life, so once they kill 1, 2 man, then after that I imagine it's easier for them. No?
Yeah.
They
We are
just
beating in turn eventually too.
boy, it happens. It has to happen. Now the justice system, though, I heard Dickie the real up the other day that he doesn't think that the magistrates are qualified. Many of them are not. He says so, and then just not but I'm trying to remember if he said not finish high school, but certainly not got you not come with no some background in the legal profession. And I think that is a problem because how then can you be a magistrate and go up against a Dickie Bradley
Yeah.
who the arguments
No
he
singing.
present?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but I think he doing a lot of gaslighting. So if you can't follow the argument and stay with it, you gonna get lost. And
Hmm.
he carry down a pigeonhole somewhere and left you down there while he come back up and you on the down there, the wonder where they go on and come up with a wrong judgment. We have to do something. We have to do something, but the 13th Amendment does not seem to be what the people want done.
And that's exactly what I mean by more professionalism. The judiciary need to be reformed. I I listen to some of the legal judgments that come out of Belize, and I like, but how? And I don't a paralegal. I
Yeah.
don't know attorney. I stop right the paralegal.
You know what are the conviction for murder in Belize?
5%, something like that.
Three.
3.
3%. That means 97 out of every 100 killers walk.
Yeah.
And many times, I'm like you. I hear them say this one uh, uh, walk free based upon a technicality, based upon something where, wait a minute, they can't locate a witness, so then throw the case. That I don't know if they're doing enough.
I believe that we have a system we still believe in a 9 to 5 and 4 o'clock where I start party. Where I get the least, what I have to do for complete my job done
And get out of there.
and done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We not take it
That's how
seriously
people
enough.
live.
We not take it seriously enough.
No.
I want to remind folks that Friday nights, CY has a show that comes on. I think they deal with the music industry, so try tune in on that. Good night, folks. We're gonna be on a new day next week. Start next week on Thursday. Next week again, we're gonna have Lauren Naman in. Riga, give us some closing comments, any final thoughts? And are we going to see Aaron Anderson on the ballot for the next election? Because I know there are some people who are not happy with it. Are you going to give in to the detractors or will you stand firm?
I have to win the convention for caretaker first.
Okay.
But if I don't, I will do the work. I will continue to show the people why I hands down believe that I had the better choice for Dangriga. And yeah, I'm here to stay. So
Do
then
you
get used to it.
and you say if you don't win the convention, so because I mean nothing is a surety, and particularly when it comes to politics, because there are other games that are played.
Yep.
Is Griga going to still be involved in the affairs of Dangriga?
Every day.
All right, so you're committed to that, and you
I'm
love.
committed to the upliftment of Dangriga. When 30 years ago Dangriga was better off than it is today, that's our problem.
Where you see a future, a promising future from Dangriga, or do you see more problems ahead before we clear this thing up?
I see some problems that I have to navigate through. But under the right stewardship, under the right mindset, everything could prosper in a Belize as a whole. And I believe that Dangriga very close to prosperity. You just need the right people in place.
You believe you can help?
I know I can help.
Wonderful. Wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
Griga, thanks for your time this evening, man. Thanks for the
Thank you as well.
conversation. And please stay focused, stay strong, stay with love of country in your heart.
Always.
Respect.
Bless.
See why we're done here? See why I got to sleep on it? Yeah. He might be expecting. I tell him, man, cut these short. Yeah, I want. Take a look at this other show. Griga, take care, my brother. Respect every time.
Good night. Blessings.
Thank you, listeners and viewers. We'll see you next week on Thursday. Please remember, our show moves to Thursday. Peace.